Hey YouTube, Big Apple here again. Hadn't made a video in a little bit, so I'll make another one. So I hear a common rebuttal a lot when talking to concealed carry about somebody that doesn't really understand it, and I've actually seen this argument perpetuated a lot when there really isn't any basis for it. So today we're going to break it down. And what I mean by the title, well, what if he or she snaps saying, okay, you're allowed to carry a pistol in public. Well, what if that person just one day just loses it and they just go crazy? So let's break this down. So someone's carrying concealed, and what happens if this person just snaps and starts mowing down people? Well, this is a common rebuttal against concealed carry. Let's break it down. Why would a person go through the entire process of obtaining a CC permit and commit a crime to immediately lose it? It's not based in reality. Think about that also. If you go through all of the paperwork and all the burden and all the money and giving your fingerprints to the state and all that stuff, well, why would you immediately go and commit a crime and just lose it all? Unless maybe you were acting under some sort of drug that influenced you, maybe acting under alcohol, being irresponsible, not being responsible. I can see it, but I just don't see why a person that wants to be legal in the first place, legal means to carry a legal handgun, would do something illegal to immediately lose that privilege and probably be in jail for a really long time. It doesn't make any sense. So what would cause a person to just snap? Well, it wouldn't happen. I'll elaborate later. Obviously, the it wouldn't happen isn't all-encompassing. I can't vouch for 100% of people in this world because there are plenty of bad apples. But regardless, I'll break that down later. So would a person simply being armed at the moment of snapping make a difference? No. A person intent on hurting others will find a way, and it really doesn't matter what they use. But this person can merely wreak havoc from the get-go, meaning like, okay, person's not carrying a concealed handgun at all. They don't have a weapon with them, but they want to wreak havoc, so they're just from the get-go, just like Adam Lanza, just like James Holmes. Man, it's really sad that I know those names, isn't it? Just crazy that they actually get famous. Anyway, those guys both just from the get-go were up in SWAT gear, whatever gear, just ready to go, ready to kill people, and that was from the get-go. The simple possession of a handgun from the start does not make a person do evil things. So just because I carry a handgun doesn't mean I will definitely commit a crime because I'm carrying a legal handgun legally. It just would not happen. So would a person just snap? Well, becoming a person who preys on good people is a long process. And just saying a person just snap and just lose it is not really based in reality either. So a few reasons that it is a long process are a few of the things that make it result in a person being this way. Irresponsible parents is one. So you have somebody growing up without the parents teaching them discipline, without showing them the consequences of their actions, etc., etc. And so they think they can get away with whatever they want to do, and they eventually start preying on other people. Growing up in poverty, and this sort of goes hand in hand with gang membership, because you see a lot of the crimes, a lot of the career criminals all come from really bad areas where they don't have responsible parents, where they grow up in poverty, and where they have gang membership because they sort of see that as a sign of being good, and they're pressured into it. Being exposed to violence on a regular basis is also bad because it desensitizes them to seeing these things to where it's commonplace to them. Seeing a dead body on the street is just another dead body on the street, whereas to a normal person, like, oh my God, that's a dead body. It's a lot more compelling to somebody who doesn't see that often, whereas somebody who's used to it, it's not a big deal. They go in their backyard and hear gunfire outside. Oh yeah, it's just a normal thing. They're exposed to this on a regular basis. They get desensitized, and it just becomes that way. So these people that prey on other good people, it is a long process. So someone just snapping, okay. And I guess I forgot to include this here. That's mostly talking about crimes. If we're talking about mass shootings, what causes a person to snap, we've seen in the past has been through some sort of influential drug, like an antidepressant, or some sort of mental illness from the get-go. But I'm not going to elaborate on that too much, because that these people to walk into a school and shoot 20 children and 6 adults it's a little sick. You got to be pretty sick to be able to do something like that. You got to not have any social skills, be a shut-in, and just not care about life in general. But I will also go back to this. These people do not care about laws. To actually get a criminal to care about a law, that's hilarious. So to deprive law-abiding citizens of an option of self-defense only affects these good people. So, you say, oh, well, you're carrying a handgun, you have the ability to be violent, you have the ability to hurt somebody. Well, there's a lot of things you can use around you on a daily basis to hurt people. You could, hit someone with a car, or you could use a kitchen knife, you could use anything. Anything could be used to wreak havoc and violence on other people. So when you deprive good people of an option to defend themselves, you're really only hurting them because the criminals still don't care. An overwhelming majority of crimes are committed with illegal handguns anyway. And I'll elaborate. By legal, it means there's no serial number, or the gun itself is fully automatic, not registered. So that would mean it's an individual who's unable to own a firearm legally. So if you have a career criminal that has a gun, well, obviously doesn't care about laws, but if you have a criminal that has a gun and is in possession of that gun, by law he shouldn't be in possession of that gun, but that doesn't magically rip the gun out of his hands. He still has it. So with all the laws in place, law-abiding individuals are always in a losing position when it comes to self-defense. So the reason I say that is because in concealed carry, you have to make decisions on the fly. So small portions of a second, you have to be able to make decisions. Your life is threatened. This criminal who doesn't care about laws from the get-go, just does not care, is used to preying on people, has the privilege of being used to this sort of thing and not having to worry about the law because he doesn't care about the law anyway. But someone who does follow the law has to think, oh my God, can I use lethal force here? Can I use lethal force here? And they have to it has to be a lot longer of a process that you have to make on the fly in portions of a second. Very small window where you can make good decisions. So concealed carrying individuals are good people. The laws hold us in check because I don't know if you've seen, but even if you simply brandish a handgun that you're carrying concealed, it could be considered a crime, a misdemeanor, or I guess potentially felony if it's in a threatening manner. You have to stay concealed. If you disregard, if somebody notices you're carrying and you disregard that and you keep going about your business without getting off private property, you're trespassing. That's a crime. There's a lot of different things, and then use of lethal force, just like we see him with this whole Zimmerman thing. Although I don't know all the details, he was the one guy that went through all the legal means to do it, and he's still getting in trouble. I mean, I'm obviously not going to elaborate on that because I don't know all the details, haven't been keeping up with that much, but there's a lot of things that we have to think about really, really fast. There's a lot of laws that hold us in check. The penalties for negligence are severe. So the penalties for being negligent with your gun, all that brandishing, whatever, being drunk when you have it, etc., are pretty severe. So even a DWI can revoke your carry permit for years. Although I know I say even a DWI like it's not a bad thing. It is a bad thing. But we have to hold ourselves to a higher standard because we have these permits. If we want to actually have this privilege of being able to carry this, it's like they're granting it to us. So it holds us more in check. Good people don't just snap. It's a fallacious and emotionally driven statement stemming from the fear of the unknown, in this case firearms. Just because they don't know about them, they haven't been exposed to them, is why they're afraid of it. And if you talk to somebody and they start saying clip or assault weapon or any of the other political terms, you'll know or you'll have a pretty good inclination that this person isn't well versed in firearms, hasn't been exposed to them, probably never shot a gun in their life because they don't know about it. It's the unknown. Anyway, this is Big Apple signing out. If y'all have questions, let me know.